We're all familiar with the name Daisuke Kanbe from Millionaire Detective Balance Unlimited, but what do we know about him or the show other than the fact that he is fine, attractive, good-looking, rich? That's about it. What else do we know about him? So today I'm here to break down what the Millionaire Detective is actually about, where it came from, and at the end of the video you can catch a quick recap of episode 1 and 2 so you can be prepared for episode 3 premiering July 30th on Funimation Now. The story's main premise is Daisuke Kanbe, who belongs to one of the wealthiest families in Japan, works as a detective at Modern Crime Prevention Task Force, or MCPTF, and it's basically a place where the delinquent or unwanted police from the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Station are sent. Kato is a kind-hearted detective who is selected as Daisuke's partner, which he heavily disagrees with because he hates the way that Daisuke deals with situations, he hates the way that he deals with money, and ultimately their personalities just clash. They are forced to work together in order to solve crimes. Detective stories are always fun, especially in America, because we love true crime and all those shows with lots of letters like Law and Order SVU and Bone. This series is actually inspired by a novel written in 1978 and recreated for modern times in anime. The original creator is Asutaka Susui, who also wrote The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, which is another anime classic movie that you may be familiar with. Some of you may know when it aired back in spring, the first 2 episodes dropped on Funimation Now, and the 3rd episode is supposed to come out on July 30th on Funimation Now. The series in total is supposed to have 11 episodes and 3 OVAs, which I hope Funimation picks up because I want to see every video, every piece of content created for Millionaire Detective. Those of you who haven't seen the first 2 episodes, I suggest you go watch it right now on Funimation Now. If you have, you want a quick recap before you go into episode 3, but you don't want to go back and watch the first 2 episodes, don't worry, I will recap that for you. So in episode 1, titled I Came, I Saw, I Sponsored, we get introduced to the main characters, Haru and Daisuke. But first, Haru. As we see him ordered to work as security at a car festival, where he runs into his previous colleagues from the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Station before he got transferred to the MCPTF. And there he discovers that there's a bomb threat that may go off at the festival. He suggests that they shut the festival down, but everyone's like, no, we got it. And then as the time approaches to the bomb, Daisuke comes on the scene, buys an international expensive car off of someone, and chases after the potential bombers or the people who have the bomb in their van, who end up being these 2 like 20-year-olds who were trying to rob a bank, and they ended up getting in the car with a bomb. So Haru and Daisuke chase after them on this wild car chase. That's really well animated. A little bit of there's CGI for sure, but it looks really good. And we get to see a bit of Daisuke buying his way through the city. He changes lights. He freaking is able to stop other cars from going down the avenue that he's gonna go on. He also has directions and stuff. So his money buys him all the way to these people who are in a bomb car that they didn't even know that they were in, until they get to a bridge, which he has raised up, so it splits in half, so they try to escape. Haru helps them out at the expense of him being at the edge of the bridge, and when they're safe and everyone's good, he's still hanging there, and Daisuke looks down at him and lets him fall into the river. And then towards the end of the episode, we get to find out that Daisuke becomes Haru's partner, and Haru's really pissed off about that because he does not like him because he just uses his money for everything, and he obviously doesn't care about other human beings. In episode 2, called Love Does Much, Money Does Everything, Daisuke and Haru are now partners, and they are sent on their first case to investigate the death of a model, which leads them down a path of finding these 2 comedians on the street who smell like drugs, and they're able to find out where they get their drugs from. Daisuke, of course, uses his super crazy technology and money to find it, whereas the Tokyo Metropolitan Police use, like sympathy and empathy and trying to get the person to open up through personal interactions. So you get to see their different ways of getting information from perpetrators. And again, throughout this episode specifically, Haru is super pissed about the way that Daisuke waves his money around in order to get things done, but at the same time, Daisuke is consistent. See that towards the end where we find out that a woman also named Kanbe, is working undercover for Daisuke to find out where the drugs are coming from, and are able to find out where it is. And Haru's pissed off about that, so he tries to go find it on his own, not using their help. But what ends up happening is that Haru failed to steal the smartphone from the guy who's selling drugs, and ends up getting saved by his reporter friend that's been helping out the whole episode, who literally went in there and risked his life so he can get some money from Daisuke. And then at the end, we get this crazy scene where both Kanbes come in a helicopter. They shoot the place up with gas that knocks people out. Daisuke buys the entire building in 2 seconds, even though I feel like he could have done that before. But I feel like for the show, it was he has to buy it now to show how much money he has. And then they're able to arrest and get the person behind the drug deals and find out everyone who was affiliated with it, and then eventually find out who killed the girl, the supermodel that was mentioned at the beginning of the episode. Finally, at the end, Haru confronts Daisuke, and literally, I feel like this was a little redundant, but he says to his face that he does not like the way he handles things, and he doesn't want to be his partner. He doesn't like him. And Daisuke's like, okay, cool, but you're not that great either because you accidentally hurt someone. He tells him his history about the reason he got kicked off of the main police force is because he misfired his gun and accidentally severely hurt someone else on the police force. And that also pissed Haru off because he's like, why do you know so much about me? Leave me alone. So he walks away from him and finds out that he has to go on a trip to Hong Kong, and that his trip to Hong Kong is with Daisuke and on Daisuke's giant private jet, which is really freaking cool. And that is where we left off, and it was a super big cliffhanger, and I'm excited to see what what episode 3 is going to be about. I'm sure it's going to be about them going to Hong Kong. We get to see more of their interaction. I hope they humanize Daisuke a little bit more. Again, this is only 11 episodes, so they don't have a lot of time to make him seem redeemable, which is something I'm concerned with. Maybe he's not going to be redeemable. Maybe he's just going to be a giant a-hole who spends all his money on people, and Haru's going to have to try to put him in his place, but not be able to because, Daisuke has money. He can do anything. So we'll see. I'm hoping for redeemable because I love characters like that. I love character growth in a series. I feel like it's one of the most important things in a story. So we'll see. Let me know if you've watched Millionaire Detective. What are your thoughts on episode 3? Or what are your predictions for episode 3? Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the Anime Tea. New episodes out every Wednesday and Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.